maximum so we can try to get everyone. If anyone wants to start first, Maggie in the front row.
Hi, Azura.
Hi.
So Kurt Miller called this a messy game, and that definitely isn't something that is good for the Sky. So what do you guys need to do to kind of clean it up?
I think we were a little surprised by the hedging. We really weren't, I don't think, prepared for that. So I think moving the ball more, I think we dribbled a little too much, and that sort of played in their favor because they were trapping a lot. They were getting their hands on a lot of balls, and the best way to combat that is just to move it. So I think, we'll take a look at film and clean some of that up, but I think that's sort of the best way we can really just combat their aggressiveness in the hedges.
Carly Bell.
Hey, Z, back here.
Oh.
First question. We knew that this was going to be a physical series. Did you expect that level of physicality out of them from the jump?
I honestly don't think so. They haven't really played us like that all year. So, I mean, we knew it was going to be a battle on the boards, but they really came out like super physical, and, we're more prepared for it now, and we'll be fine the next game. We'll be more prepared for it the next game.
Just a follow-up on that. This was the first time that they ever took a lead on you guys in the first quarter. What was it about the first quarter that you saw out of them that was something that either shocked you guys or was something that you guys weren't expecting?
I think we just turned the ball over, and they were able to sort of capitalize on that. I don't really think our defense was terrible, but we didn't really score like we usually do. I think at half we had 32 or 35. That's like really low for us. We usually are scoring way more than that. So I think they just sort of threw different things at us. They hedged, then they didn't hedge, and we were sort of just like, I don't want to say confused, but I guess a little bit. Like, we didn't really respond quick enough to what they were doing. So, yeah.
Zachary, second row.
Hey, Azura. Obviously, the Sky is known for coming through in the clutch and being resilient, and certainly you all showed signs of that down the stretch. Going into Game 2, trailing 1-0, do you all see that as another opportunity for you to come through in the clutch in that way and to remain resilient?
Yeah, of course. I think, that's just sort of been our MO for the last 2 years, is we always find a way to bounce back. We've showed that with Vegas. When we played them, we were down by so much, and we came back. We lost the first game in the New York series, and we bounced back. So I think for sure, like, we'll be more prepared just sort of for anything that they throw at us. And we will for sure play better, I think, the next game.
Julia, front row center.
Yeah, Azura, it seemed like your minutes were a little bit limited in that fourth quarter. Was there anything going on with you physically, or was that just a coach's decision?
Nope, I'm healthy and doing good. So he just decided that, and I don't know why. But, yeah, I'm good.
Just a quick follow-up. When the Sun set a tone like this, just with, like you said, the physicality they bring, how can you counter that when you have a team come in, and set this kind of tone in your first home game?
Yeah, I think I said this before, like, we're a quicker team than them, especially like post players. And so I think especially like that's how I sort of approach when teams try to get more physical with me, is using my quickness. I'm not a banger. Like, I'm not ever going to be able to push Brianna Jones. Like, that's just not going to happen. But I can use my shot, my quickness. And I think the same for Emma and Candace. Our versatility is what separates us from a lot of post players in the league, and we have to use that to our advantage. They're more of a slow, rugged, slow the game down, beat us up in the paint. And the ways we've been successful against them in that before is cutting, moving. Like, we just were stagnant, and that's what they want us to do because they have an advantage to that. So I think we just have to use our quickness. We have to move the ball more. Our posts have to, cut more. And we saw that sometimes with the guards. Like, we got some beautiful backdoor plays. That's the way we're going to beat them. We can't bang with them. That's just not the build of our team. So I think we need to just do more of that in the next game.
Hey, Z.
Hey.
So how did you feel about you guys' collective efforts on the boards today? Of course, I'm sure it was a point of emphasis from Coach Wade, and obviously it's an outlet to winning the series.
Yeah, for sure. I think we could have done better. We emphasize that a lot, like with film, and we know it's always a battle with them. So we're never going to, I think, completely shut them down. It's such a huge part of their game. But I think there was key possessions in the fourth quarter where like they got 2 and 3 offensive rebounds, and like that's the type of plays that can't happen. Like they should be able to get 1 each possession, and that's a win for us. But we can't allow them to get 2 and 3, especially that late in the game. That's just a momentum swing, honestly, when they're, you know, that easily able to get O boards. It's just extra possessions for them, and it plays in their favor.
And then the bench group with, of course, you, Rebecca, and Julie. When you guys came into the game in your 2 early stretches in the first half and the second half, you guys were able to bring like a jolt of energy. Can you just speak to like really how that specifically like helped you guys like re-up some energy and then kind of flow into your true identity throughout the course?
Yeah. Well, first, I think it's cool because every time we come in, the fans get really hyped. So that makes me really hyped. But I think that's just been sort of our MO all year. Like the bench, we've come in and we've been really productive, and it's not always scoring. We bring a lot of defensive energy. And, you know, Julie comes in, she's really steady. She doesn't really turn the ball over. Rebecca's always on the attack. You know, I'm always aggressive. So I think we should be better with that. I mean, I was 1 for 7, which is pretty terrible. So I'm not going to be that next game. But I think just continuing to find ways to impact the game, you know, defensively and offensively. I mean, their bench did outscore our bench, and that usually doesn't happen. So as well as the team, like the bench will be better in the next game.
Hazy.
Hey.
I'm sure this wasn't top of mind because of the loss, but with Candace, I mean, she came 1 steal away from having a 5 game. What were the things that she was doing to help you guys just stay afloat amid all of the kind of confusion, as you alluded to before?
Yeah, I think Candace played incredible. I think she had 19 and 18 or close to that. She's able to do that. And so I think also like we didn't really shoot the ball that well, and that's something that is going to play to their advantage. You know, they sag off a lot, and they sort of want us to try to force everything in, but we have great shooters on the team. We almost have 6 or 7 people that can shoot. So I think she was really confident in her shot, and we saw that. And like we talked about earlier, she just was able to display her versatility. And I think that's important. Like we have to shoot too. Like we just played into their hand with trying to bang it down, and I don't think that's going to work because that's what they want us to do. So I think she was able to just sort of keep us alive, especially in the second half. It was almost like whenever we needed a bucket, she answered, and that was really cool.
Second row. Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Like you just said a couple seconds ago, the fact that Connecticut outscored Chicago's bench, that doesn't happen often. Connecticut had a 10-plus advantage in the paint. That doesn't happen often, considering the Sky score over about 50% of their offense in the paint. How does that, keep that from happening into game 2?
Yeah, I think it's hard because I don't think our defense was terrible, but I know there's certain possessions where we sort of let them get what they wanted to get. JJ had some shots over her right shoulder, and I think in the playoffs, those are things you kind of have to limit, is like players' go-tos and make them beat you in another type of way. I think we hedged a little bit in the second half, and we saw some success with that. So I think, trying that a little bit earlier might help us. And I think just O boards, like that just gave them a lot of momentum. And a lot of the times when they got the O board, they were able to score easy 2s or kick it out and get an easy shot. So we really have to like hunker down on just, if they do get an O board, it's just 1, and like that's it.
To follow up, like Connecticut really kind of needs this game considering sweeping the season and then last year semifinals. Going into the next game, what's kind of the team's mindset as far as keeping this from happening again?
Yeah, I think like they're really hungry. I mean, we are too, but we could see that tonight. They came out with like a really, really intense energy, and yeah, they lost to us last year. And it wasn't just sort of like they lost, like they were they were on some crazy streak, and then we just sort of like gut punched them. Then we beat them 4-0 this year. So it's like they're really like, they have extra to like beat us, and I think like we all have to understand that and just bring as much energy as possible. I said this before the series started, like this is not even really like, okay, what can we do tactically? Like, it's just whoever wants it more, because they have beef with us from last year and all of that. So it's whoever wants it more. And I think that play with Ka was, that was great. Like, that's the type of series this is going to be, is who wants it more, who's not going to let the ball go. So I think we just have to bring, like, even more energy in the next game, and we will. Yeah.
Any more questions for Z?
Thank you, guys. I do, actually.